on camera, but I am. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome along. Great to have you all with us here today. Welcome to canfitpro's highly anticipated State of the Industry Health and Fitness Trends webinar. As we delve into the upcoming year, the fitness landscape here in Canada is set to witness a surge in specialized fitness, heightened emphasis on active aging, health, mental health, and well-being across all generations, and a notable pivot towards active recovery and regeneration. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for canfitpro. I'll be co-hosting today's webinar, and joining me is my co-host, Daniela Goode-Thomas. Daniela is the Certification and Events Experience Manager here at canfitpro. Hi, Daniela.
Hi, Mo. Great to be here today.
Great to have you. It looks like we're twinsing today. Thank you so much. We're going to have a lot of fun together. We know what's ahead. We are thrilled that you're here to learn with us today. So we will get right into it, but I wanted to kick off with just a few reminders of our housekeeping benefits of being here on Zoom together. First of all, you will see only the presenters and Daniela and myself. You are off camera, your mics have been muted, but definitely use the chat box to share your ideas, connect with each other, and pose your questions to the panel. Also, we have closed captioning. It is enabled in the session. You can use the CC icon on your menu bar to deactivate or hide those closed captions if you prefer, and that is your choice. This year's canfitpro Trends Report is based on responses from over 1,500 of our members, the respondents who have, told us what we as an industry here in Canada should be focusing on, what is to be expected to be most popular and most effective consumer-facing fitness trends, as well as fitness industry. What are the directions for us to be most attentive to in this year ahead? So to get us warmed up for this webinar, let's exercise our minds and our fingers. We're going to drop a quick poll, and this poll will help us to get to know you. So our poll questions that'll appear are, and please participate, and then we will reveal the results. What is the reason for attending today's webinar? I have yet to review the trends report canfitpro has published, and I'm excited to learn. Number 2 would be, I want to learn how to relate the trends to my own fitness career ambitions. 3, I want to learn how to use these trends to help expand my business and my services beyond what I'm currently offering. Let's answer that right now. We can all play. And then we will, in 30 seconds or less, reveal the results.
Okay, great. Look at all those responses coming in. It seems like we have a lot of people who are excited about the trends this year, wanting to use them to expand your businesses and your services, as well as what you're currently offering. I do see that there are some people who have yet to view our top 10 trends for 2024. So I do have some good news for those of you who have not seen our trends as yet. They are available via canfitpro's magazine. Our January-February issue serves as a comprehensive guide, offering insights and the latest projections for all of these top 10 health and fitness trends in Canada. And the link to this issue will be provided to all of our participants today at the end of the webinar. So don't worry, you will be able to access these to view them yourselves. And in the meantime, as you can see, Mary has popped into the chat a quick view, an infographic of sorts that shows you our top 10 trends. So just as a quick review for you, our top 10 trends in order from 1 to 10 are: number 1, active aging and older adult programs. Number 2 is functional fitness. Number 3, mental health and stress management programs. Number 4, active recovery and regeneration. Our number 5 trend is group fitness classes or programs. Number 6 is personal training. Number 7 is mind-body programs. Number 8 is upskilling and education. Number 9 is online personal training or fitness classes or wellness coaching. And then number 10 is nutrition. Now, for today's discussion, we've gathered a panel of industry experts who are going to speak on each of the top 10 trends. They're here to answer your questions, help you understand how to use these trends strategically so that you can elevate your own fitness business and or brand. And our objective here is to provide insights that you can translate into actionable strategies that resonate with your evolving needs and the needs of your clientele. We hope that you will gain tips that are valuable, some great tools and knowledge to positively impact not only your services, but also your marketing strategies, your customer engagement, and your overall business sustainability. So without any further delay, I'd love to welcome our industry experts who are joining us for today's webinar. We have Leslee Bender, who is the author and creator of Ageless Training Academy and is a global industry award-winning personal trainer. Leslee, welcome, and thank you so much for being here with us. We also have Milad Emadi, and Milad is the personal training director at Emadi Athletic. Milad, thank you so much for being here with us today. We have Lisa Greenbaum, who is an award-winning presenter and the founder and lead trainer at Sangha Yoga Collective. Hi, Lisa, welcome. And we have Dr. Joel Kerr, who's also known as Dr. J. He is a chiropractor and the founder and director of therapy at the Health Institute. Welcome, Dr. J. And we have joining us as well Marie-Ève Ricard, who is an FIS Pro trainer or Pro Formatrice. She is one of our fitness instructor specialist course instructors. So she teaches and certifies new fitness professionals with canfitpro and was our first ever Industry Impact Award winner in 2023. Welcome, bienvenue. Welcome to all of our panelists. We are so excited to have you. And I'm going to pass right over to Mo so that she can get us started with some of our questions.
Thank you so much and welcome everyone. Great to have you all here. It's going to be a very diverse and very interactive discussion. And I myself am very excited to learn from all of you. We have 2 rounds of questions today. The first question to all of you in your own areas of expertise will be slightly different based on the same ask. So our first question is going to begin at the very top of our top 10 trends list. It is about our number 1 trend, active aging and older adult programming. So this being the number 1 trend as predicted by our respondents, I'm pleased to have Leslee Bender here to speak on this trend. Leslee is Director of Education for Ageless Now, co-author of I'm Ageless Now, a 4-decade industry expert and designer of fitness that promotes longevity and better quality of life at all ages. Leslee, help us gain a deeper understanding and clarity as to why active aging and older adult programming is topping the trends, and how will this trend impact other trends on our top 10 trends list?
Right. Well, I just set my timer, so I'm exactly 4 minutes. Welcome, everybody. I'm honored that I was asked to be part of this panel, as fitness is truly my passion, but it also leads to my purpose of why I do what I do. And I have found as an active ager myself that this category is so valuable for all of you that are attending today, because truly, if we look at the trends and if we look at the statistics, that the active agers after COVID, 80% were the first to return back to fitness facilities, which you would think it would be the younger generation. But because of studies, they recognize that 75% of active agers, they are the ones with a higher disposable income that are looking to get back into life. And what does that mean, getting back into life? Well, our lifespan is about 73, 75, give or take. but our health span or our fun span, I like to say fun span, is 65. However, what happens is when our clients become more sedentary, if we go back to COVID, for example, and they stop doing what they were doing, this can actually, be a detriment to our longevity, if you will. So as a trainer, we have an amazing opportunity in 2024 to move forward with the top trend, looking at the fact that 75% has such a great impact on personal training revenue. That's high. And for me personally, when I look in the facility that I work in, that most individuals who are personal training are in the active aging category. So what does that mean? So the model of aging is this: physical activity tends to decrease if somebody doesn't move and they don't have a program to be associated with. This is where you come in as a trainer. Our functional ability declines. So our speed declines, for example, balance declines, et cetera, range of motion. The big thing here is cognitive. And without movement and without facilitation from an individual who is well diverse in this category, can have a huge impact on cognitive ability with their students. And last but not least, I think this is probably the most important one, honestly, is emotional. You as a trainer have an opportunity to really work on the emotions of your clients and have them feel better about themselves. The National Institute of Aging, exercise, nutrition, independence, group activities. What does that mean? Independence. When you are working with clients, if you have the right certifications and educations, that is when you come in and you start, and this is the next categories, functional training and personal training. When you have the ability to understand what your client needs, then you are going to have a huge impact so that they can play with their grandkids, golf, pickleball. Pickleball is probably one of the #1 trends. So in other words, from couch to court, you can come in as a coach and offer something very specific, if you will, in that category. So once again, the Edward Jones Age Wave Study is the desired activities with preferred individuals. This is in the canfitpro research, which is very exciting. So to wrap this up in 9 seconds is simply this, is having the ability to know, to get the right education, to work with these individuals, and you will see your income increase exponentially. I went 5 seconds over. Sorry about that.
That was awesome. I loved how you brought us forward to why this year we're seeing that surge of active agers and older adults in our trends being #1. And you brought us through time of who returned to the facilities and studios and to fitness after the pandemic first. So thank you for giving us that rationale, citing the research, giving some love to the canfitpro research, and also tying into another trend, which is the benefits of being a personal trainer working with this clientele base. Excellent. Thank you. Great start. Milad, over to you. As a personal trainer and PT director at Emadi Athletic, with over 20 years experience in leadership, education, and development in the fitness industry, one who holds, I believe, over 50 certifications at some point in your career. Let's discuss trend #2. Leslee set that up perfectly. #2, which is down from 1 spot in 2023, it's functional fitness. Can you please define what functional fitness is and help us gain a deeper understanding as to why this continues to rank on the top of the trends list year after year? And how does this trend impact other trends within our top 10 list?
Absolutely. And thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be with all the great minds in the industry in this webinar. It's great to just pick the brain of everyone as we're walking forward with these trends. So what is functional fitness? I wish I had a simple answer on this, but outline of functional fitness can be directed to not only just one thing or one type of training or workout or lifestyle. If you ask multiple experts what is categorized as functional exercises or training, you're probably going to get a variety of answers, right? But let's take a look at the words by itself. Like, we refer to functional fitness as a type of fitness routine that allows you to be easier and better in your day-to-day, right? So if you ask me, almost everything into your top trend that we basically talked about, it outlines functionality, right? So it allows us to be more functional. But let's separate it to, looking at a fitness professionals. How do we look at functional training or functional fitness? For fitness professionals, when you hear functionals, our mind goes to using primary movement that mimics our day-to-day activities. So you're walking, you're pushing, you're pulling, you're bending, you're squatting, twisting, reaching, and then using all of these in variety planes of movements. Let me give you an interesting fact. And as we're expanding it in Canada, with our companies, we ask hundreds of thousands of members to see what do they want to see in our facilities. And it was not more equipment, it was more space. They're asking about having more space so they can move freely. And what it shows you is it's not that strength training machines are not important, but people at some point, they want to have the ability to come out of this one plane of movements of machines and be able to move freely and change directions. But in order to support someone to be more functional, we need to assess them in their quality of movement, in their lifestyle, their activities, their limitations, even in mental health and stressors. As we know, psychology affects your physiology and vice versa. And I can tell you, throughout my coaching careers, I've spent 7,000 hours over on the floor watching people walking and twisting and squatting and looking at their movements. And I can tell you 99.9% of people that start their fitness journey, regardless of their experience or otherwise, they don't have the skills or prerequisites that properly can utilize or loading these movement patterns. That's why it's really important to have professionals that watch you through your movements. Like, we had a system at Milad for performance coaches that we watch thousands of people every month of how they move, because we want to set them for success. And it's a massive value to have a highly educated personal trainer or a coach that observes and take a look at your opportunities, puts you in the right path, so you can be prepared that staying into your functional training, and you can be able to load these patterns. And if you ask me, between a personal trainings or functional fitness, are these trends that stays with you? I can guarantee you we're probably going to stay in these trends for a longest time.
Thank you so much, Milad. It's great that you brought attention to the fact that although functional fitness can be looked at as simply as living easier and better in your day-to-day, that it also is something that is multifaceted, and the way in which fitness professionals can really help clients to more practically apply these concepts from a place of the knowledge and experience that fitness professionals bring. Now, I'd like to perhaps bring a different insight to that by asking Dr. J, in your experience as a chiropractor and a clinician, you specialize in manual therapy, exercise prescription, and performance enhancement through the Health Institute. And I know that you also work very closely with athletic individuals of various ages. Is there anything that you would add to Milad's definition of functional fitness?
I really don't want to be that guy, but I'm unfortunately going to be that guy. And that guy is, or that the professional on the panel, where I despise labels, categories in terms of exercise and movement. And the reason why I feel that way is because, like my colleague Milad said, there are certain movements that an individual needs to be able to do that will allow them to do certain exercises. However, if we stop, if you look back at a child who is just learning how to walk, this child did not go to a trainer, did not go to sign up for functional training or anything like this. This is natural movement that we as humans are supposed to be doing. And when we stop doing these movements, that is literally where the problem is. And I can even add on to the fact of what my colleague Leslee was saying earlier. As soon as we start to age, things get slower in terms of movement and generating power. But here's the caveat: don't stop moving. As soon as you stop moving, things will become more difficult. So this is the reason why I don't like this terminology of functional exercise or training, because it should just be things that we're doing every day. We don't need a trainer to teach us how to walk. We shouldn't need a trainer to teach us how to bend down and tie our own shoe. We should just be doing these things every single day. But I understand the industry that we're in, health, fitness, everything has to be monetized. And that's the one thing that I really wanted to stress to everybody that is on this call. Yes, we love working with people. We love making people feel better about themselves. But let's just take the elephant out of the room. We are just trying to support what people can do. And then as they can do more, then we add more stress to it. And the one thing that I wanted to add to the definition that Milad brought to us was that it should be practical, it should be useful, and it doesn't need to be attractive because it's just being a human. That is my take on this. And it may not give you the exact answer that you're looking for, but I feel so passionate about this conversation because sadly, people will come into my space when they start working out with a new trainer or they start a new group exercise program and it's well past their capabilities. And if they just had somebody to be like, listen, I'm not interested in taking all your money right now. I just want to teach you the basics. Let's start with you sitting in a chair, standing back up. Let's start with you walking before you're jogging or sprinting. And that's literally where my frustration comes in with regards to this.
Thank you so much for that. That was actually really insightful because there was no answer that we were looking for specifically. We wanted to really gather from your experience in terms of what you're seeing in your practice, what you're seeing with the people that you're working with. And there was something that really rang through that you said, just don't stop moving. And unfortunately, in our society, we know that people do stop moving and then they need the help of people who have a passion for movement and activity to help them to do, as you said, the things they can do, and even to help them to realize the things they can do in a safe and progressive way. So thank you so much for sharing exactly what you said. I do have a follow-up question for you. Looking at everything we just talked about moving and the things that people should be able to do in the natural movements, how do we link that back to active recovery and regeneration, which was the number 4 trend this year? How would you define that? And how would you say it's important to the fitness industry?
I like this question a lot, and I like it because of the population of my client base right now. And right now, as you mentioned, Daniela, a lot of them are athletic. They're playing sport, and the big buzzword is recovery and regeneration. However, my way to look at this, and I will include us in this, we are professionals as well. We are healthcare professionals. And you think about when you're working a 40-hour week, you also need recovery as well. You also need a moment to regenerate so you can get back at it on Monday. So I believe that recovery is for every professional, and it needs to be activities that do not mentally tax the brain so that you are, quote unquote, going back to the work that you're doing in the first place. I like to suggest that it has to be something slow, controlled. Breathing is involved, some meditation, eating a meal that is heavy in essential fats, good proteins. Those are all things that I suggest for any professional athlete, professional lawyer, doctor, healthcare professional. It doesn't matter. It just needs to be mentally low grade activities that will allow your brain to regenerate and allow you to do what you need to do in your upcoming week.
And that's great. You even touched a little bit on our number 3 trend, which is mental health, mindfulness, and stress reduction. So thank you for bringing that in. I think this is a perfect time for us to go over to Lisa Greenbaum, looking at the fact that we know that within active recovery, there are various training methods and or programs that fitness professionals or any professionals or any person can employ to work toward the recovery or the regeneration. Now, one of the ways that they can do that is through tailored mind-body programs. So Lisa, given your experience, over 20 years of experience in the industry, you are an award-winning presenter, lead trainer, and the founder of the Sangha Yoga Collective, which is a trauma-informed yoga education school. How do you see mind-body programs helping people and or impacting the fitness and health industry?
Thank you. And I'm going to come right off of what Dr. J said, because I think as fitness professionals, sometimes we take our movement for granted, and because that's just part of our life and such a huge passion of ours, it's probably what brought us into the industry in the first place. And then at the same time, especially when we are, really in the throes of our career, we tend to be moving and working harder than the average person. And so we absolutely need we need the recovery. We need it physically and we need it mentally. And then also I so appreciated what Leslee says about, you know, coming out of the pandemic, you know, even though it's kind of been a couple years, the long lasting effects are still there. And I think that's why this idea of the trend of mind body coming forward is there. You know, the interesting thing is I've literally been teaching mind body programs for over 20 years. That's been my whole career. So it's hard for me to accept it as a trend. But I think, you know, when I reflect on the new attention that these programs are getting, what I see is that, you know, when I first started teaching these styles of program, yoga, Pilates, I taught body flow, which is now body balance at the beginning of my career before really getting deep into yoga, was that most people were coming for flexibility training, and maybe an easier workout than some of their other workouts. And now the shift is definitely people recognizing that mind body programming, in particular yoga, just really offers so much from a physical standpoint, of course, but absolutely from that energetic and mental standpoint. You know, even when we look at yoga as a practice, yoga is a broad term. So even, you know, to talk about doing yoga, it's almost like saying, well, I'm going to go do cardio. Well, what kind of cardio? Because what kind of cardio is very different. What kind of yoga you're doing is very different. And, you know, the first thing, and this is what I'm really trying to, you know, push forward with what we're doing at Sangha Yoga Collective, is yoga is a state of being. That's actually the definition of yoga. It's not something you do. And the practices of yoga, that's where we get to that state of being, which is a state of stillness within, when we can actually see things, see our life, see things clearly, with clarity of mind. And we get to that state. We can't just flick the switch on and off. If we could, life would be so different. But we get to that state through the practices. And so sometimes we get to that state truly by jumping on the treadmill and running, or doing, you know, a really active strength training or fitness program, for sure. But we also get to that state through breath practices, through meditation. And it has to be full circle. And then, of course, doing yoga poses without question. But there's a real difference between hot power yoga as being what we're doing for recovery, and something that's more like yin and restorative, because it's almost like comparing walking to training for a marathon. And so when we're looking at, you know, mind body programming as far as a trend to help us with our stress reduction, we have to be really looking at what we're doing. And this is both as fitness professionals and what we're asking our clients to be doing for their fitness and their health overall. And so, you know, if we are working with people that are really focused on building strength, that's fabulous. But where is the other piece for them to step back and work on a bit of mobility as well? And, you know, we all know everyone's got a million things on their plate. Everyone has stresses coming from everywhere. And so many people in the world are dealing with stuff that we have no idea, right? And, you know, carrying, whether it's past traumas, carrying, you know, the other thing too is that, you know, when we talk about mental health, like, we all have mental health. We have physical health, we have mental health, we have mental minds, we have mental health. We're all going to experience different layers of anxiety and depression, which is how they most come out. And so all of us are kind of facing these different degrees and these different, you know, different cycles of life all the time. And so we need to really make sure that we have these tools to balance that out. And I just want to stress that sharing this with our clients is imperative, but we have to do it ourselves, because if we're not doing it ourselves, it's like, you know, not exercising and being a PT, right? So we have to do it for ourselves too.
Well, thank you so much. I'm just hearing through your response and also through what Dr. J was saying, just this blend of this message that recovery is for everyone, mind-body programs are for everyone, that restoration, that focus on mental health is for everyone. And there are different ways that it can be achieved. So I really appreciate the insight that you both have lent to that. And Lisa, I also wanted to comment, you mentioned that it's a bit difficult to look at mind-body programs as a trend or to look at recovery as a trend. And I think that's a good point for us to make, is that it's not just about something that's just for now. These things have been around and will continue to be around. They're not fads. They're places where attention is now being paid, and rightly so. So thank you for bringing that forward. Mo, did you have anything that you wanted to jump in with at this
I
point?
wanted to say, great food for thought as we embark upon this being a trend where it really is a state of being in life. And we're just bringing it to center stage as far as the value, importance, and contribution that recovery, mental health, and wellness and practices within that, under the umbrella of it all, is becoming such a priority, or such a valued space and place for people to embark upon this year, and I'm sure for years and decades to come. Thank you, Lisa. And speaking of food for thought, well, we're not going to speak about nutrition today. It is our number 10 trend. It's still top on the list, and there's many reasons for that. Some of the research is citing that, well, mental health, of course, is becoming such a big center of attention, as just spoken to, and such a motivator. It's actually been cited that mental health is becoming a greater motivator than even weight loss. And yet nutrition still remains very, very popular. And so we as Fit Pros need to continue our education in that area. And I'm not just speaking about understanding the basics of the 4 food groups and micro and macro nutrition, but what's been asked by our respondents is they're seeking meal planning, preparation, food preferences, mindful eating, and behavioral nutrition. These are all areas of expertise, and it's already been cited the importance of us being qualified to be experts within our scope of practice. So with that in mind, being such an important pillar, canfitpro has dedicated an entire day to nutrition. This is part of our Aspires series. We kick off with Aspires Nutrition Friday, March 1st, coming up very soon. And it is a one-day online conference. And for more information, you can just jump right on the link after the seminar, copy it down if you are not familiar with it. Go to canfitpro.com/events. You can also find it there. Take the opportunity to register so you can actually focus time on learning about this important and very diverse demand in nutrition this year. I'm going to now move us over to our last question in this first round, to Mediev. And Mediev, as an award-winning educator and FIS, that's our fitness instructor specialist certification as the pro trainer of that program, with 20 years industry experience as an entrepreneur in the virtual fitness, corporate wellness, and fitness class space. We would like you to lead the commentary on group fitness, which holds the number 5 spot once again this year. What encompasses group fitness, and how does group fitness relate back to the other trends we've spoken about today?
Yeah, thank you for the question and the introduction. GroupX is an essential part of the fitness industry, providing a fun, dynamic, motivating, and socially engaging environment for participants to help them improve and maintain their physical and mental health. In the chat box, please write group fitness if you are a fitness instructor, whether you teach small, medium, big groups. I'm so curious to know more how many fitness instructors are out there. Yay, Mo! Daniela, woo-hoo! So make some noise in the comments. Yes, Jose. So cool. Shayla too, hello, cool. When it comes to the top 3 group fitness trends as listed in the report, we can see a significant emphasis on classes for older adult, strength training classes, and HIIT Tabata classes. Let's start with strength training, improving muscle tone and bone density, promoting better posture, reducing chronic pain, facilitating daily activities, preventing age-related loss and muscle mass. People are more aware of the importance of strength training and the benefits. So body weight and functional training are also part of our course planning, as they are very comprehensive and effective. Classes for older adults are often incorporate strength training, also balance and flexibility to help them maintain functional independence and range of motion. So they can improve their overall health and quality of life. HIIT Tabata classes are also popular for their effectiveness in achieving results with limited time investment. So the combination of anaerobic intervals, so it's short periods of maximum intensity, can include plyometric, power and speed, and strength training exercises too. The key so the key takeaway for delivering safe and tailored HIIT Tabata classes to our participants is to provide alternatives, options for sure, so that everyone can reach their own maximum capacity. Overall, group fitness allows us to offer a wide variety of physical activities and wellness to our participants. Additionally, social connections contribute to creating a community that is healthier both physically and mentally. And now, what new element catches your attention, and what would you like to bring into your group classes? So I invite you to think of it. You can share with us if you want to, but put it into practice in your next course. You'll benefit, and so will your participants too.
Wonderful. I loved how you wrapped it all up. You gave us so many elements of what the group experience, group fitness environment is all about. And I would say, to answer your question, is what I have brought into my classes, having taught for 4 decades, I'm as passionate and as excited today for building community, because I feel that, of course, with the separation of being not together for years, that is something that people really crave. It's their hunger point for getting back to the club, is to be with others, to motivate themselves by being around like-minded, motivated individuals. You really did give us a great overview of why group experience, group exercise, group fitness, however you define it or call it, is such an important element. I heard an amazing stat last week from a leader in the industry that works all over the world. And he did say that now that people sign up for classes through an app or through a check-in system of some sort, we now can measure the impact that group fitness has in a club. And it has moved up the ranks to be one of the most significant contributors to retention today. So thank you so much. And I'm going to close this off with a very rapid question to you, Leslee. And that is, being in the group fitness field as well. Whoops. There you go. Someone's missing the webinar because they're calling me. I'm going to ask you to close off this with 30 seconds, your comment on group fitness as it relates to the active agers and older adults. Your final thoughts.
Okay, beautiful. I'm going to say reminiscence fitness. In other words, bring music into the category when you are working with the active aging clientele is age appropriate music. Bring in the music that we recognize, whether it's Motown, whether it's, you know, whatever the case may be, the Beach Boys, when you bring that in, people immediately can relate to when they were younger. When you feel happy and you feel younger, it absolutely transcends you into a happier, healthy, more energetic body. As Dr. J said, you know, little kids are not having personal trainers teaching them how to walk. Guess what? You'll start moving your feet, dancing and having a good time. If music motivates you, then by all means, that is one of the most important components that I cannot stress enough, is to bring into your active aging group class, is the music that we can relate to.
Wonderful. Haven't heard that yet today. Great, great. Cherry on top. All right, we're going to move into question 2. This is the one where everyone lean in, listen, because each of our panelists will share in 1 minute or less. This is our rapid round, always a fun way to close any discussion, and that is one thing. So the question is to each of you, and we'll just throw it out there to you, and that is, what is the one thing, piece of advice, a training or business strategy, or perhaps a highlight that you yourself gained from today's webinar that you as an expert would recommend that will ensure sustained growth and positive movement for any business, any service, or any person's individual brand? What is the one thing you would share? I'm going to start with you, Marie-Ève.
Yes, for the virtual is to capitalize on the opportunities presented by virtual services. With the rise of virtual offerings, we have the chance to reach an entirely new segment of the population, those who may be hesitant to visit a gym or who have a busy schedules, by gradually encouraging them to move from the comfort of their own homes and helping them develop a love for exercising at their own pace. We can make a significant impact for sure. Additionally, offering personalized additional services can further support their journey. So the virtual stuff offers unique advantages over in-person services, and it's crucial to leverage these opportunities to their fullest potential.
Merci, Milad. Milad, what would you add or offer as your one thing that you want to share with the attendees today?
Oh man. Okay. Well, I would say, honestly, I would say surround yourself with people with successes, and you feel that they're smarter than you, because that's the way that you stay humble and you continue learning, right? Like whether you wanted to expand it, whether, you know, they always say if you're always doing, you don't have time to think, and the best time to think is to surround yourself with people that they have that experience to, you know, allow you to expand into your knowledge and your successes.
Yeah, definitely. Keep learning, keep growing. Lisa, I see you nodding. I feel like you have something you'd like to add on to that.
Well, I'm always going to say keep learning, keep growing. I think that that's important for our mental brain health right there. But I think as far as the one lasting piece that I want to share with everyone is, as they say, put your own oxygen mask on first. When it comes to looking at managing stress, make sure that you, as you know, the fitness professional guiding your clients in whatever capacity that is, that you are managing your stress, because we do lead by example. And so if you're not currently involved in a yoga program, start. And what might even be easier than that is meditate. Please start a meditation practice. There are free apps all over the place. I have free meditations on Insight Timer as one of many that can be used, but you got to do the work on yourself first, and then you really understand the importance, and it becomes so much easier to share than with your clients and everybody around you.
Yes, and yes. Joel, you're nodding yes. Your thoughts, one thing.
Yeah, I really like that, Lisa, because we are, as healthcare professionals, we are our biggest critic, and we can also conduct experiments upon ourselves, which leads me to my referral or my nugget. Refer out coaches when you are not in the capacity or you do not have the knowledge base to work with a client that may be having a specific health issue, or they may have a specific interest of physical activity that you do not have expertise in. I know it's tough times and business may be slower than it needs to be right now, but please don't take on that idea that you can be a jack of all trades. If you don't have your certification in yoga, you cannot tell anyone that you can coach yoga. And in addition to that, if you're looking to build your practice wherever you are, I would highly suggest walking into a physio clinic, a chiro clinic, a medical doctor's office. Build relationships that way. If your existing clients have chiros or physios or medical doctors, ask for their contact information. Drop them an email and say, hey, I see this person once a week. These are the things that I'm working on. Communication is key. That practitioner, if any trainer did that with me, I love that trainer because I know that this person knows that they can't do it all on their own. So building relationships starts with good communication, written communication, email are ideal. I wouldn't send anyone a DM on Instagram or anything like that, but try to make it professional as much as possible and reach out to the pros and build your network that way. That's my reco.
Such a reciprocal form of respect for building credibility for yourself and also building your credibility with those health professionals you do connect with. It is a win-win opportunity. That's a very valuable piece of advice. And Leslee is nodding. All right, Leslee, your one thing.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. J. You're absolutely right. As the director of Ageless Training Academy, I think it's essential, especially when we are working with the active aging clientele, that you do know your stuff. If you're choosing to work with an individual that's had a joint replacement, for example, and you yourself have not gone through one, perhaps you need to work with a medical professional or a PT that understands the importance of how you can facilitate prehab and post-hab. And I think that once again, with times being a little bit tough, sometimes I think trainers have a tendency to jump into genres that perhaps is not your wheelhouse. And again, you can't fake it till you make it. This is one of these professions that I highly recommend. If you decide you are going to jump into the active aging category, the #1 category for this year is to find education and those professionals that can help you tremendously understand exactly what you need to do with those individuals. Again, we're creating conscious movements for subconscious results, and that is a very, very valuable thing to be thinking about as you move forward in your career. And I love working with the active aging. I'm one of them. It's a great category.
Thank you, Leslee. That wraps up our formal discussion. I'm going to pass it back to Daniela to close.
Awesome. Thank you so much to all of our attendees and our panelists. Panelists, you shared so much valuable information. I just want to thank you again, Leslee, Milad, Lisa, Dr. J, Marie-Eve, for just imparting some insight, some wisdom, and of course, these tips and suggestions that will help us all as fitness professionals, as health professionals, some of us, and even for ourselves to be able to take some of the information from these trends and to really incorporate it into living healthier, happier lives and spreading that in the communities that we have an impact on. So thank you for participating. And for those who are in attendance, thank you for taking the time out to join us today. We hope that you gained valuable insights and that you were able to take this insight and advice to help build your business confidently in 2024. Please do take a moment to help canfitpro plan our future events by completing the short survey about your experience in today's session, and you'll find the link in the chat box. Thank you so much, Mary, for popping that in. Mo, I'm going to pass back over to you for any closing remarks.
Thank you, and I concur with you on all aspects. Thank you to our distinguished panelists and to all of you who attended, took time out during your day to elevate your knowledge and to learn how you can implement and bring these trends and the learnings from today's webinar into your services, programs, and business and personal brand for this year. This is how we all move the industry forward, by moving ourselves forward first. It's like putting that oxygen mask on first so we can help others. I want to just remind all of you that we do have our survey. Please fill it out. It does help support what it is that you seek for education, ongoing and otherwise. And also we have our first event of the year, as I mentioned earlier. Mary's dropped the link also for registering it to our Aspires Nutrition And it is coming soon, so do not delay. And my very final announcement, I am thrilled to announce on behalf of canfitpro that we have officially opened registration for canfitpro 2024 Global Conference and Trade Show, August 7th to 10th in Toronto and or online, because it is a world out there, right, Maria? The online way to learn and serve. Please, you can take the opportunity to register now at the early bird rate. So do that today. The event will be here before we know it, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next online event, in-person event, or webinar to come. Thank you to my incredible co-host, Daniela, to all those in the background working with us to bring you this webinar. Thank you, everyone, and have an amazing 2024, everyone. Bye for now.